Diving has just always been a part of my life and my family's life. If you get to go out and do the thing that you love every day, there's a connectivity there. When I started diving in the late 80s, it was much different. The water that all these animals and plants live in is changing. Here on the New South Wales South Coast, we have been proactive in becoming involved in the co-management of the local marine environment. This has led to some positive outcomes for industry and the community. Being involved in this space has ensured that we can collaborate on the management of the marine estate and not just leaving it up to the government regulators.
Well, I started abalone diving quite a while ago, almost 50 years ago, and we've always noticed that you get these broad areas in New South Wales of what we call barren habitats, habitated only by the purple sea urchin, Centra stephanus rogersii. It became apparent from very early years that this habitat was slowly increasing.
In the areas where the long-spine sea urchin has overgrazed, we get areas of bare rock, which we refer to as urchin barrens. This creates an area devoid of kelp habitat, which can be detrimental to other species that exist in the area that rely on this habitat. It can also be quite detrimental to viable commercial industries that exist there, like the abalone industry, and can be harmful even to the urchin industry because they rely on quality urchin roe, and when there's too many sea urchins, there's not enough food for them to graze on.
The abalone fishery's got a lot to lose if the long spine urchins continue to expand the barren habitats, because it'll reduce reef area where we can fish, and it'll just force diving effort into smaller areas and reduce the total productivity of the fishery.
Ocean Watch Australia has partnered with the New South Wales Abalone Association to support industry in managing urchin numbers.
Commercial divers are key to this solution. You need somebody in there to do the surveying and the controlling of these sea urchins.
And wherever those divers have been, making their harvest and reducing those urchin densities, we're seeing a recovery of habitat in those areas.
We've seen an improvement in the roe, the commercial quality of those sea urchins, which makes them commercially viable, which makes that project sustainable. But we're also seeing a return of that key brown kelp canopy.
It's an overall, win-win. The advantages are going to flow to both the abalone fishery, the sea urchin fishery, and the marine environment.
Through the Ocean Watch Smart Farms Urchin Management Project, industry has become involved with academics, community and regulators. The positive changes I'm already seeing for the industry really give me hope. A resilient diver is an adaptive diver, and moving into the future, climate change related impacts to marine ecosystems will require more active interventions. Industry cannot operate as normal, and there is a need to change practices to adapt to these impacts. One way we're doing this in New South Wales is through industry training for SUTs and abalone divers. The training involves upskilling industry in social licence, biosecurity, responsible harvest, industry regulations and sustainability in the marine ecosystem. By attending this training, we become more aware of how we can protect our environment, shape our policies and secure our future.
I've been in areas there where I've fished for 30 or 40 years and there's just been nothing there, and now I'm getting a good catch out of that area. I'm seeing the seaweed, seeing a lot of abalone as well as undersized stock, so you're seeing a build-up of that biomass, and it's just so encouraging.
It isn't about removing urchins completely, it's about bringing a balance to these habitats. Urchins are a native species that are crucial for maintaining a healthy functioning ecosystem in these areas.
It's important that we maintain these inshore kelp habitats. Kelp is important to filter our marine environment. It controls the acidity of the water and also collects particles like microplastics and stuff like that and binds them in place. It's important for carbon capture and it's important for stopping wave energy, which causes coastal erosion, which is a real problem in New South Wales at the moment. What gives me hope is that there's an awareness now in the community that the marine estate is so valuable, just not commercially or as a place for recreation, but for the planet.